Baxter Community Center is a place on the south side of Grand Rapids, just east off Eastern Avenue, and it provides all kinds of help for all kinds of people.
I think one of the things that's unique about Baxter and its contribution to this community is that its geographic location. It is rooted in the heart of the Baxter neighborhood. It is walkable by neighbors. It is across the street from where neighbors live. It's across the street from the splash pad that I take my son to. It is right where folks live.
Baxter tries to create kind of a holistic response, a set of services to wrap around the needs of families.
When I think about Baxter's theme, SAFE, which is securing access, fostering equity, my mind really goes back to Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And when God did that, mankind had all the resources needed available to him to sustain life and to produce life. But also mankind had harmonious relationships, one with the other. What Baxter's doing by highlighting, securing access and fostering equity, quite frankly, continues the redemptive work of God to restore this earth back to his original ideal. And Baxter's doing that in its own corner of the kingdom to ensure that members of the Baxter community have access to resources that they need, and that they're also fostering equity among relationships within the community.
When we secure access for all people, we're creating a level playing field. We are helping people's situational circumstances or their circumstances of birth not become barriers to them walking in the fullness of their potential and purpose. Fostering equality is important to our community because we know that disparities and gaps exist, and we know that there are institutional and organizational and systemic issues that create cultures of have and have-nots in our community. So the more that we can foster equality, the more we can say that every life, every resident matters and is important to this community.
You know, equality is as simple as realizing that when you walk up to a door, everyone has access to the handle. But there are some people, because of their condition, that the handle isn't good enough to allow them to open the door. And so there needs to be a button there for them to push. That's equity.
Baxter does that without any kind of qualification. And then through this, Baxter works in a number of programs if people need financial aid, if they need income tax help, if they need marketplace concerns, if they need food, if they need clothing, if they need help in learning how to provide for their children, a host of ways in which Baxter provides and helps in equity and providing access to people.
When we secure access for all people, we give them the opportunity to use their God-given gifts and tools to strive and to become self-sufficient.
I think what I was not prepared for was the love that I felt at Baxter. I was not prepared for that. And I was not prepared that my heart would knit so well with Baxter.
Baxter Community Center is empowering. It is a safe space for community members to be empowered, whether that's through gardening classes or youth empowerment programs. Baxter is this essential component in our community that's really helping folks that call this community home thrive.
You know, the clinic, most of all, is very important. In fact, when my husband was living, way before the clinic was started, my husband was a minister, and he and I used to pray for Baxter Community Center, and he had a vision of the clinic.
Baxter does so much to foster equity and to create spaces for access in our community. I think for me, I have personally benefited from the urban gardening program through Baxter. I always wanted to garden. I saw my grandparents garden and help them, but never really got that full transfer of knowledge. And so I was able to join the urban gardening program at Baxter and get a raised bed in my backyard. And I'm so thankful that they were able to help me connect to cultural roots as well as to provide that transfer of knowledge to my toddler son. And that's been priceless.
is.
I think Baxter has just been and continues to be a pillar in not just the Baxter neighborhood, but in Grand Rapids as a whole. Some of their greatest contributions include the work that they're doing in the lives of young children through the Child Development Center. We can't say enough about how important it is to really develop a child at a young age, and Baxter is a major cog in that wheel. I think Baxter also makes a huge impact on lives through its mentorship programs. And those stories, I think, are perhaps untold and may remain untold, but we will see the fruit born through the lives of the mentees in years to come. But again, Christ said that we ought to pray that God's kingdom comes here on earth as it is in heaven. And Baxter is doing its part in its corner of the earth, that people might experience God's love in tangible ways.
Baxter Community Center, a Christian response to human needs.